this new age of economic recession, getting something for nothing is as appealing as ever, and we're here to help you navigate the free game terrain. In our last installment of Cheaper by the Dozen, we pointed the spotlight at 12 free online role-playing games to help you decide if those games were for you or a simple waste of time and bandwidth. For part 2, we decided it was time our trigger fingers got a workout, so we jumped into the world of free online action games. As before, we applied certain criteria to determine whether a game was eligible for the list. 1. It has to be free to download and charge no periodic fee. 2. It must not require a retail game to be installed in order to play. And 3. It has to be a multiplayer action game played in a standalone client. So, here are 12 free online action games that won't make your pocket lighter, but maybe worth spending some time on. There's Deathmatch, and then there's Deathmatch with cattle. And not just any cattle, but cattle-wearing astronaut gear. If you've ever felt that fast-paced shooters could use a good dose of 60s-style kitsch, Alien Arena delivers plenty of it between big-brained extraterrestrials and a good selection of futuristic weapons to mow down your opponents with. Not that humor is enough to get you through, but in a game that cribs so much from the big boys of sci-fi shooters, it goes a long way in keeping things fresh. Fortunately, the time-tested gameplay is solid, and there are a ton of cool maps to play on. NextEase uses the Darksiders engine, which, in turn, is based on ancient Quake 1 technology. NextEase owes another debt to Quake, which firmly established that while teamwork and strategy are all fine and dandy in other games, sometimes all you want to do is shoot aliens in the face. This deathmatch-focused first-person shooter squashes the most familiar aspects of Quake and Unreal Tournament together, going so far as to include revamped versions of some old Quake maps. And if you really get into the high-velocity action, you should be aware that NextEase supports all sorts of Quake mods. But if you just want to play for the fun of it, you'll find that NextEase is easy to jump into, and if you're a Quake or Unreal Tournament veteran, it'll fit like a rocket-powered glove. Combat Arms is a light and entertaining military shooter with a seasoning of arcade elements. Sniper rifles reign supreme, since almost any weapon you acquire can be turned into one with the simple addition of a scope. As you play, you earn points, which can then be spent on weapons and items like landmines and silencers, but you don't get to keep them. Instead, you rent them for a certain period of time, and when the rental period is up, they disappear from your inventory. Fortunately, maintaining an optimal loadout is simple, and many upgrades are purely cosmetic, so you won't find yourself spending more points than you're capable of earning. To put it mildly, Tremulous is insane. If you choose the alien faction and go on the offensive, you run around like a Black Widow spider on speed, biting enemies until you can evolve into an even more powerful arachnid. The twist to the formula is that you choose to play as either a basic attacker or as a construction unit. Construction specialists like alien Grangers and humans with construction kits build structures like turrets, armories, and barricades. As your team racks up the kills and as construction specialists stay alive, they earn currency used to build stuff. Should the opposing team destroy all your spawn structures and slay you and your teammates before you can replace them, it's game over. Savage is a first-person shooter and real-time strategy hybrid in which one player sits on high as the commander and the rest do the grunt work on the ground. As a grunt, you work your way through the ranks by killing local wildlife and enemy soldiers so you can purchase classes, weapons, and special items. If you play as commander, menu options allow you to give clear and concise instructions. From a traditional RTS bird's eye view, you can mark waypoints, target specific enemy units, or draw hot routes along the map to communicate your strategy. Yet for all these complexities, Savage is simple to get the hang of, and consistently full servers ensure you'll never have trouble jumping into the action. America's Army was released as a United States Army recruiting tool in 2002. Unlike other first-person shooters, America's Army seeks to promote teamwork and tactics. Just be prepared for a time commitment. The game starts with a required basic training phase, and you can take on additional training should you want to explore your gameplay options even further. Of course, the long training phase proves that freedom isn't totally free, but at least you don't need to fork over any cash if you want to fight for the red, white, and blue. Allegiance isn't just a game title. In this case, it also describes an entire player base. Allegiance gives its action a real-time strategy twist, in this case putting one player on each of two teams in the role of commander, who then manages a research tree while delivering commands to his or her units. Of course, these units are all controlled by human players. But even if you're a simple pilot, there's a huge learning curve to overcome, even if you've played a space sim before. But as complicated as it is, 8 years after it thrust onto the scene, there's nothing quite like Allegiance. Beyond the Red Line is officially a demo. Upon its initial release, entire clans were built around this Battlestar Galactica-themed game. With enough people, dogfights are a trip, and you can duke it out as a Viper pilot or as a Cylon raider. In another mode, teams must mine a collection of ore before the other team does, which is a fun twist on the usual fights to the death. But even if it's just you and a buddy, you can join up together and take on enemy raids in which the game throws wave after wave of enemy ships at you. In the future, planets will be made of candy. No, really. It's a vision that's hard not to like, and one that comes to life in the intriguing Celestial Impact. On a small asteroid with a strong center of gravity, 2 teams duke it out in deathmatch, capture the flag, and a VIP mode in which one team member holds onto a crystal while his teammates try to protect him. Throw in a terraforming tool called a dirt gun, however, and the already inspired gameplay becomes even more dynamic. Not only does this offer a cool layer of strategy, but it can develop into full-blown hilarity as teams connect plateaus with bridges, aim the dirt gun at their feet to propel themselves upwards, and, of course, shoot each other with a number of cool weapons. In the realm of third-person shooters, Guns the Duel is the closest you're going to get to recreating your favorite moments from the Matrix films. Guns throws Matrix-style wall running, Max Payne brand leaping, and RPG leveling into a multiplayer fragfest that's as interesting to watch as it is to play. You shouldn't expect to wield the best weapons or execute the best moves from the very beginning, though. As you play, you level up and earn bounty, which you then spend on new weapons. This in turn opens up better techniques. As for the future of Guns, it seems unlikely that you'll have difficulty finding anyone to play with anytime soon. Thousands of players are logged in at any given time across a variety of different servers and chat channels. When you sign on to Xsteel, you take control of a large mechanaut and take on up to 15 other players. Objectives are simple. Kill other bots before they kill you. The biggest decision you'll make in Xsteel, however, is how to customize your loadout going into a fight. You'll be able to purchase a wide variety of weapons early on, but the powerful ones take a while to earn. But weapons, parts, and skills lose durability, some through use and some over time. What's most important to know is that it's most fun in short bursts. You'll feel rewarded as your robot climbs in rank and design, but disappointed when you haven't played in a couple of days and return to find that many of your cool items have decayed. You may not know of Padman, the star of a German comic, but it doesn't matter. The basic gameplay isn't much of a surprise. You'll get deathmatch and team deathmatch, and variants in which you've got to spray your graffiti tag on walls while shooting each other in the faces. But the real draw here is the visual style and hysterically fun settings where the shooting takes place. Locales run the household gamut, from the basement to the attic, and because you see each room from your tiny avatar's perspective, you'll definitely appreciate the cleverness of each setup. If you like the speedy tempo of Quake-style shooters but tire of the usual alien hullabaloo, World of Padman may be just the visual change of pace you've been looking for. So that's our second look at how you can get games for nothing. Be sure to stay tuned to our next episode so you can learn even more ways to get games for free. Whoa, what's going on, Kevin?